Right now, your mind is the ultimate battlefield in a hidden global war.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds super dramatic, but it is completely true.
So let's just imagine waking up, you grab your phone, and you see this viral video of an American naval base completely engulfed in flames.
Which is terrifying.
Right. Millions of accounts are sharing the clip in seconds, panic spreads. But the video is completely fake, generated entirely by artificial intelligence.
And this isn't some movie plot. Iranian-linked accounts recently flooded social media with AI-doctored footage exactly like this.
Exactly. And meanwhile, you have Russian operations like Operation Doppelganger fabricating entire fake news websites. They trick voters by literally cloning real websites.
Yeah, and then China deploys these massive spamouflage bot networks to control global conversations. I mean, adversaries launch these digital assaults every single day.
They use memes, they use bots and fake identities to literally hack human psychology. They want to change how you view the world.
Right, which is why today we are doing a deep dive into the architecture of influence.
We are pulling from a huge stack of sources today. We've got communication textbooks like Propaganda and Persuasion. We've got the Rand Corporation's military framework on ethical influence.
And we also have expert intelligence analyses on Russian, Chinese, and Iranian cognitive warfare.
So our mission today is to give you the exact tools you need to spot when you are being informed, when you're being persuaded, and when you are just being played.
But real quick before we jump in, as a reminder, our sources cover highly charged political and global conflicts.
Yes, very important point.
We absolutely do not take any sides here. We are just here to impartially report the facts and the strategies described in the text. We aren't endorsing any specific political viewpoint. We just want to convey the ideas in the source material.
Exactly. We are just the messengers. So before we can really spot the digital weapons targeting us, we have to understand the fundamental difference between healthy communication and malicious manipulation.
Right, because we're all trying to persuade each other all the time, right?
Yeah, like where do we want to get dinner or who should we vote for? But the sources draw a super hard line between normal persuasion and propaganda.
They call the good stuff virtuous persuasion. And virtuous persuasion is a two-way street. It meets the needs of both the sender and the receiver.
And it relies on explicit facts, right? Like
Yeah.
it fully respects your autonomy. You always get to make the final choice.
Exactly. Propaganda, on the other hand, serves only the sender. It frequently hides its true purpose.
It's sneaky.
Very. And it restricts competing information. And it tries to short-circuit your rational brain by using, emotional manipulation or just straight-up deception.
I like to compare virtuous persuasion to a good doctor. A doctor clearly explains a treatment plan, they give you the stats, and then you decide.
Right, they respect your choice.
Yeah, but propaganda is like a snake oil salesman who locks the doors of the room and screams, "Fire!" until you buy his fake medicine just to get out.
Wow, yeah, that's a really good way to put it.
But okay, let's unpack this for a second. Because both a really great, inspiring speech and a propaganda campaign use deep emotion.
They do, yeah.
So where exactly is the line drawn between inspiring someone and stealing their autonomy?
Well, the Rand report actually highlights this perfectly. They say deceptive propaganda is classified as a form of harm.
Wait, actual harm, like physical harm.
Well, cognitive harm. It robs you of your fundamental human right to choose freely. Inspiration uses emotion to highlight a shared truth. Propaganda uses emotion to blind you to the truth.
That makes a lot of sense. And since propaganda succeeds by stealing your autonomy, we really have to look at how the internet supercharges that theft on a global scale.
Oh, absolutely.
Mhm.
The digital age basically destroyed traditional media gatekeepers.
Right, there used to be editors who would stop crazy rumors. Now anyone can publish what the sources call paranews.
Paranews, yeah, these are half-truths and rumors that just instantly go viral because they look like real news.
And this has birthed what experts call narrative warfare.
Which sounds intense.
It really is. It's not just about spreading fake facts anymore. It is about tying fake events to your deepest fears and your cultural identities.
Right, the goal is to generate complexity and social schisms. They want to tear communities apart from the inside.
And militaries and hackers do this using automated bot farms. They create this thing called astroturfing.
Ah, astroturfing. That's a great term.
Yeah, it's the false illusion of widespread grassroots support.
Yeah.
You log on and see 10,000 angry accounts, so you think everyone is angry.
But it's actually just one guy with a server in another country.
Exactly. But here is where it gets really interesting to me. They also use mimetic warfare.
Means. They weaponize internet memes.
Yeah, and we usually think of internet memes as just silly jokes, right? Like cats or movie quotes.
Totally.
So how do simple jokes actually function as effective psychological weapons that change people's behavior?
Well, it's because memes deliver simple, easily digestible messages that completely bypass your logic.
Because you're laughing, your guard is down.
Exactly. A great example from the sources is how Ukrainians used memes, like the famous Fellas memes, those little cartoon dogs, to mock Russian supply lines.
Oh, I've seen those.
Yeah, they were everywhere. And they successfully boosted Ukrainian morale and severely degraded the enemy's credibility.
Huh.
It's hard to be intimidated by a military force when millions of people are laughing at a cartoon dog mocking them.
Right. Laughter destroys fear. That's a really powerful tactic.
It is. So, knowing that memes and bots and AI are the weapons of choice now, we should probably examine how the biggest global players wield these tools differently.
Yes. The authoritarian playbook. The intelligence reports really break down Russia, China, and Iran. Let's start with Russia.
So Russia's focus is on subversion and eroding social cohesion. They use a tactic called active measures.
And that actually dates back to the Soviet Union, right? The 1959 Red Swastika campaign in Germany.
Yes, exactly. They painted swastikas to make the world think Germany was returning to Nazism. It's all about making the target destroy itself.
And a modern example of this is from 2018, after the Skripal poisoning in the UK.
Right, where former spies were poisoned.
Yeah. After that happened, Russian sources flooded the internet with 46 different conflicting stories.
Wow, 46.
46. They didn't push one truth. They just made the actual truth impossible to find. They throw so much dirt in the water, you can't see the bottom.
That's wild.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Iran is a bit different. Iran focuses on hyper-mobilizing domestic partisanship.
They want us fighting each other.
Right. They want to project false strength.
Yeah.
During their Storm 2035 campaign, they actually created fake American news sites.
Oh, like the ones called Even Politics in Savannah Time.
Yes. They ran both of those. They used them to manipulate both liberals and conservatives at the same time.
Just playing both sides of the fence to create chaos.
Exactly. And then you have China, which prioritizes image control and silencing dissent completely.
They want a quiet room.
Very quiet.
Yeah.
Internally, they use the massive Great Firewall. Externally, they deploy Confucius Institutes globally to censor anti-regime narratives.
And they use that spamouflage we mentioned earlier to just drown out criticism with pictures of pandas and scenery.
Yeah, it's wild.
So what does this all mean? It basically sounds like Russia throws smoke bombs to blind you, China builds a soundproof room to silence you, and Iran sets off the fire alarms to panic you.
That is a perfect analogy.
Yeah.
That's exactly how the intelligence reports describe their distinct methods.
Okay, so we see how hostile states operate, but it makes me wonder, how do governments, especially democratic ones, ethically mobilize their own citizens?
Right, without crossing the line into malicious propaganda.
Yeah, because we have public health campaigns and recruitment drives. Where is the line?
Well, sociologist Yang Su talks about this. He introduces the idea of state-sponsored social movements.
Because governments have massive resources to start mass action.
Exactly. And he says these movements can be promotional, like rehearsing patriotism and civic religion, or they can be persecutory.
Persecutory meaning pitting groups against each other.
Right, which is obviously what we want to avoid in a free society.
Yeah.
So to ensure they operate ethically, military planners actually use that RAND framework we talked about.
Okay, how does that framework actually work in practice?
So any influence operation must seek a legitimate military outcome. It must be highly likely to succeed, and it must be strictly proportionate.
Proportionate meaning the benefit has to vastly outweigh the harm of the deception.
Exactly. You can't just lie to the public for no reason. It has to save lives or achieve a crucial, legitimate goal.
That makes sense. But even with those rules in place for our own military, we are still swimming in a sea of foreign influence.
Oh, totally. And scholar Nancy Snow warns that mainstream media actually fails us in this environment.
How so?
She says that by covering these information wars like a professional wrestling match, the media narrows our context.
A professional wrestling match, so it's all about the drama and the spectacle.
Right. They just focus on the conflict and the loudest voices. And Snow says this turns us into passive spectators.
We just sit on the couch and watch the chaos unfold instead of thinking critically about who is pulling the string.
Exactly.
But if our own media makes us passive spectators, how do we actively defend our own autonomy? I mean, against AI algorithms and astroturfing campaigns that are literally designed by supercomputers to trick us.
Well, the first step is just realizing that you are on the battlefield Every time you scroll through a feed, read a headline, or share a meme, your mind is the target.
It's all about attention.
Yeah, and by understanding these specific tactics like paranews and spamouflage, you take back your autonomy. You stop being a pawn in someone else's narrative war.
So, practically speaking, what should our listeners do today?
Whenever you encounter highly emotional information online, just pause. Ask yourself, is this respecting my ability to reason?
Or is it trying to short-circuit my logic for someone else's benefit?
Right. If it makes you insanely angry in 2 seconds, it's probably a trap.
That is such a good rule of thumb. Just taking a breath can defeat a $1 million bot network.
It really can. Friction is your best defense.
But I do want to leave you with one final, slightly terrifying thought from the sources.
Oh boy.
As artificial intelligence becomes advanced enough to generate perfect, persuasive narratives tailored specifically to your individual psychological profile in real time.
Right. Because it has all your data.
Exactly.
Yeah.
When that happens, will the concept of human free will even survive the next decade of the digital age?
Man, that's the real question, isn't it?
It really is. So keep your guard up, protect your autonomy, and we will see you next time on The Deep Dive.